A major security incident has rocked the United States at a highly sensitive moment, coming just as tensions with Iran continue to simmer. Two U.S. Navy jets collided in mid-air and went down in flames near a key Air Force base, raising fresh questions over safety. On camera, witnesses captured the terrifying mid-air collision, followed by the aircraft plunging to the ground and plumes of smoke billowing from the crash site. The crash marks a new setback for the U.S. Navy, landing just days after commanders publicly sounded the alarm over the strain on American naval forces. At the very moment the U.S. Naval Force warns it is running out of money to sustain operations, Donald Trump is openly mulling whether to renew full-scale war with Iran. Two EA-18G Growler jets collided in mid-air and crashed in the U.S. state of Idaho on May 17th, turning a planned airshow display into a serious accident. The incident occurred during the Gunfighter Skies Air Show, just 2 miles from Mountain Home Air Force Base, where crowds had gathered to watch the performance. The base was briefly locked down after the crash, as officials moved quickly to secure the area and launched an investigation into what caused the mid-air collision. Emergency crews rushed to clear the surrounding area and worked to bring under control the fire that was sparked when the wreckage slammed into the ground. Reports say all 4 U.S. Navy pilots were found safe roughly a mile south of the crash site, after successfully ejecting from their stricken aircraft. Video clips of the incident show the jets colliding in mid-air and then, seconds later, for parachutes deploying as the aircrew bailed out. The aircraft then plummeted to the ground, where they exploded into debris, with thick plumes of smoke seen rising from the crash site in the distance. U.S. reports note that at the last Gunfighter Air Show, a hang glider pilot was killed in an accident, highlighting a troubling safety record for the event. This latest incident comes as the U.S. Navy has warned it will not be able to sustain high-tempo operations linked to the Iran conflict for much longer without more funding. Amid talk that fighting with Iran could resume, senior U.S. Navy leaders are now openly admitting they cannot sustain current costs without painful cuts elsewhere. The service's operations chief says the 2026 budget was written before Epic Fury was on the table, meaning this entire Iran campaign is being funded off a plan that never anticipated a major Gulf War. Admiral Daryl Caudle describes the Navy as burning bright in the Middle East, but warns that every extra patrol and strike comes at a steep operational cost that is now starting to bite. He says the fleet is rapidly depleting fuel budgets, maintenance money, stocks of smart weapons and the finite flight hours left on jets and helicopters scheduled for overhaul. Caudle warns that without extra cash from Congress, the Navy will have to start slashing training cycles and routine operations by July, gutting readiness to keep the Iran front manned. His warning comes in the wake of U.S.-Israeli operations that began on February 28, a campaign that suddenly turned the Gulf into a 24/7 theater for carriers, destroyers and patrol aircraft. That high-intensity phase lasted 39 days before an April 8 ceasefire understanding, but the Navy's bills, and the strain on crews and hardware, have only kept mounting since. Caudle says, and I quote, "The fiscal 2026 budget didn't bake in Operation Epic Fury. You see a large Navy force in the Middle East. So we're burning bright, but it does come at cost, and it comes at operational costs. To have the funds necessary to continue the war effort, which is quickly racking up fuel costs, operating hours, maintenance dollars, and munitions. I do fear that I'll have to start making decisions in the July time frame. My record recruiting is going to be thwarted without additional funding to PCS to those individuals from boot camp and to pay enlistment and re-enlistment bonuses." Unquote. Months of non-stop missions around Iran have heavily drained maintenance accounts, forcing commanders to delay repairs and push aging hulls harder than planners ever intended. Caudle says the Navy may even have to pause permanent change of station moves for 12,000 to 15,000 sailors, freezing careers and family plans to save money for operations. He also warns that enlistment and re-enlistment bonuses could be delayed or reduced, undercutting recruitment just when the service needs fresh crews most. Extended deployments off Iran have already created logistics problems, with some ships reporting shortages of fresh food, spare parts and other basics as rotations drag on. Reports from the fleet suggest morale is suffering and mechanical faults are rising, as overworked sailors and stretched maintenance cycles collide under punishing schedules. On May 16, Donald Trump convened a high-level security meeting to discuss the path forward on Iran, weighing military and diplomatic options with his advisors. Trump is reportedly growing increasingly frustrated with Tehran's handling of diplomatic negotiations, accusing Iran of dragging its feet and playing for time. Following that meeting, Trump publicly warned that the clock is ticking for Iran to make a deal, signaling that patience in Washington is starting to run out. However, he declined to give a specific deadline for the talks, leaving ambiguity over exactly how long the US is prepared to wait before shifting course. For now, US officials say they are waiting for a new plan from Tehran, after Washington submitted its own counterproposal and urged Iran to respond.